Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is Matty here from Chill TCG. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 32 deck lists from the massive Chill Series number 25 tournament, which wrapped up this Thursday. It was again another big two-day event. We had another Tropical Beach in the line. This time it was a 2011 Tropical Beach, as well as 300 Battle Styles packs. Now, this was the biggest PTCGO event to ever be held on the Limitless platform. I want to give a big thanks to everybody who played in this tournament, who participated, who tuned into the live stream on Thursday night. And again, big shout out to Card Cavern Trading Cards. You guys can use the code ChillTCG for 5% off your entire order, link in the description below, as well as the Filthy Goat on Twitter, who again sponsored this tournament by supplying the Tropical Beach into the prize pool, which was given to the first place winner. So, we're going to get right into it. Again, yeah, just an absolutely massive tournament. Insane amount of people that played. And our top 32 deck lists were very, very... Here, let me zoom in real quick, just so we can kind of see a little bit better. Top 32 deck lists were very, very well diversified. So there's a lot of really cool lists that we're going to be able to look at today. We're going to move a little bit quickly. 32 lists is a lot, but we're going to give everyone their shine here. Technically, we had 41 people make cut because our math was a little bit off. I'm not going to lie, but the tournament was so big, we decided to just keep it the way it was. So we did a top 32 asymmetrical cut. So 41 people ended up making it into phase number 3, but we're just going to be taking a look at the top 32 lists today, just to kind of give some order to everything. So let's get right into it. First up, it's going to be Louisa Back. Louisa Back? I'm not sure. From Brazil, playing ADP. So, you know, I think we've all kind of seen what ADP is like these days, at least. This one's pretty cool. So this guy is a little bit all over the place with an ADP list here. A lot of different things in the deck here. You know, 3 Zacian, 2 ADP, 2 Dedenne, Crobat, Eldegoss. I have Mawile, everything that you would typically expect in ADP. However, now we do have an Aegislash tech in here. We have a Mewtwo tech for those Urshifu lists. And we have an Empoleon V tech as well for those Victini, Centiskorch, you know, Welder lists. So I like this, right? In terms of attackers and possible Pokemon you could have in your list, he's got pretty much everything. You know, 1 Mawile, you don't need 2 Mawiles if you have the Aegislash. I think the Mewtwo is really good against Urshifus as well. Overall, just a pretty good card to have in the list. And then Empoleon is just, you know, again, you can one-shot those VMAX Pokemon after the ADP boost with Empoleon. Very good Pokemon here. So 4 Research, 4 Boss, 2 Marties. Pretty standard supporter count here for ADP. We see 4 Metal Saucers, 4 Energy Switch, 4 Quick Balls, and then 2 Escape Rope, 2 Cherish Balls, and 2 Switch. So the switching option's a little bit low in the deck here, but we do have 2 Air Balloons. So, you know, I wonder if that was even a problem for this man. So everything is looking pretty cool here. Now, a couple other things to note is we do have a Tool Scrapper in the list. Tool Scrapper is pretty cool, right? It definitely helps with some matchups for sure. Can kind of get Pokemon out of range, especially tag teams with those big charms, you know, for getting KOs with the, you know, with the Zacian, with the Rusted Sword as well after the ADP boost, so that's important. And you can also knock off big charms, which might be put on your opponent's Dedennes or Crobats to get them out of range of getting KO'd by ADP. So Tool Scrapper, pretty cool for sure. Yeah, 2 Air Balloon, Rusted Sword, 1 Chaotic Spell, and then an 8-3 energy lineup. So everything good, everything here pretty cool, pretty standard. I'd like it a lot. ADP, it's one of the more consistent lists in the format right now. I don't know if it's ever won, or at least if it's won a big event here in the Battle Styles format. But either way, big shout out to Louisa Black. I like that ADP list. Next up, we have Fabio Battistella. I'm not sure. From Italy, playing just straight Victini VMAX, it seems. So let's take a look at his Victini VMAX list. Okay, cool. So now what you'll notice a lot of times with Victini lists these days is they're not running like a 3-3 or a 4-4 lineup of Victini. They're oftentimes running like a 2-2 lineup with a couple other secondary attackers in the list thrown in there, because Victini VMAX does have a very good matchup against V and VMAX Pokemon. However, you know, for those tag teams or those single prize Pokemon, things like that, we definitely want some other options. So we are running the Scoop Up Net Jirachi engine, 3 Jirachis in the list. Now, technically, I would recommend running 4 Jirachis at all times, but we do have 2 Crobats and 2 Dedennes in here, so plenty of different options to draw some cards and dig for what you need. He's got 1 base set Victini as well as 1 Battle Styles Victini. Personally, I'm a little bit warm on the Battle Styles Victini right now, just because you are able to get that turn 1 KO on a Zacian if you can Welder 2 on here going second, because you know, this attack for 120 discard all energies is actually really powerful realistically to hit off on those Zacians on your first turn going second. So I like this Battle Styles Victini a lot. We have 2 Volcanions in here, which should pretty much make the Decidueye matchup pretty much winnable for you, all things considered. So I do like the 2 Volcanion techs in here. It's also a pretty good starting option on top of just Jirachi as well if you're going second. Like I said, 2 Crobat, 2 Dedenne. We do have 1 Cramorant in here, 1 Heatran GX, and 1 Reshiram and Charizard GX. So these are going to be our secondary attackers. These are going to be the ways that we're kind of KOing these tag team Pokemon, as well as the single prize Pokemon, other than Decidueye, things like that, right? So very good. I mean, this is a good Victini list. I like it so far for sure. We have a Goon in here to fix some math, Eldegoss as well to get this Welders and Bosses out of your discard pile. Then we have a Giratina to knock off those Coding Energies, which we might find on Luke Metal, or just Special Energies in general. And then we have a Mew. Mew's pretty much a staple card right now in the format, with things like Pikarom running around, the Urshifu running around, and Teleon is actually pretty popular right now as well. So Mew, definitely very good. You should probably run Mew in most of your decks, excluding maybe ADP. I don't know if it's really needed in ADP at all. Then we have 4 Welder, 4 Boss. So again, no draw supporters, but we do have, of course, the Jirachi engine with 2 Crobats, 2 Dedennes. It's probably not needed. Also, you can draw cards off Welder, so not that big of a deal at all. 4 Boss is important. You'll see that a lot in Victini decks, and I kind of agree with that for sure. So pretty much just a 4-4 supporter lineup. We have 4 Quick Balls, 4 Pokemon Communications, plenty of different Pokemon in the deck, so it kind of makes a lot of sense there. 4 Switches and 4 Scoop Up Nets. Going to be very good. Give you a lot of pivoting options, a lot of switching options with the Jirachi engine, all very good stuff. And then we do have 2 Fire Crystals on top of a Reset Stamp. Reset Stamp is also a really good card in Victini. They might KO Victini, your Cramorant or your 2 prize Pokemon, whatever it might be. Definitely put you in a position to stamp to 1 or 2 throughout a game in most matchups, which I like. 3 Giant Hearts, 10 Fire Energies. So everything in this deck, everything is in here. We're not really missing anything right now from this Victini list. Everything is pretty cool here. I like it a lot. Personally, I might cut like a Crobat for a 4th Jirachi just for consistency. I might cut a Heatran GX from the list. I don't know. I don't really play a lot of Victini, but I do like this list a lot. So you know what? Big shout out to Fabio. We love to see it. Where are we at now? Okay, now we're on Mr. Ping here from, what is this? From China. 30th in the tournament here. 11-5-1. He was playing Luke Metal. Now, Luke Metal's been on the rise, realistically. It didn't see really any play going into battle styles, but now people have kind of figured it's just defensive metal is a very good archetype, so we might as well be playing it right now still, right? So, again, here we go. It's Luke Metal. Pretty standard. 4 Zacian, 2 Luke Metal, 2 Zamazenta. We do have the Aegislash-Tech in here. Decidueye did win our last big tournament, so did make sense there. We do see 4 Boss, 4 Research, 4 Marnie, 3 Malalanas. So, pretty interesting supporter lineup. Lots of different supporters, 15 different supporters in the deck. But you know what? I think the 4 Boss is pretty cool. I think the 3 Malalanas is also really cool as well. Definitely helps a lot in a lot of matchups to be able to get those Malalanas when you need it, specifically against things like Pikarom. It's going to be extremely good in that matchup, as well as Urshifu's, right? When you're playing Urshifu, Luke Metal definitely wants those Malalanas as consistent as possible. So, makes sense. We have 4 Saucers, 4 Quick Ball, 4 Switch, and we're playing Pokegears. So shout out to Jake Gearhart. Pokegear engine, Luke Metal here. I like it. 2 Dolls, 1 Scrapper, 4 Metal Goggles, and then 10 Metal, and then 4 Coding Energies. So 14 energies in this deck total. Pretty cool for sure. Everything is here. I mean, I definitely agree with playing Luke Metal in this format right now. I think it's very, very good. It's pretty well positioned, all things considered, with all the Welder decks running around. Yeah, I mean, I like the 3 Malalana, I like the 4 Boss, and the high energy count in the list, right? You have a lot of what you might need, I guess, is what I'm saying here. And seems to be probably a pretty consistent Luke Metal list. Now, I might cut just like a basic energy or a Coding Energy for like a Pokegear and just run 4 gears. But I do think the Tool Scrapper is smart as well. Maybe I would cut like a Marnie or something. I'm not even sure. But yeah, this is the sweet Luke Metal list, and I do recommend playing Luke Metal in tournaments. Not on the ladder though. I never played Luke Metal on the ladder. You're just gonna waste people's time. Okay, next up we've got what is this? Mauricio Figueroa? I don't know. 29th in the tournament. What is he from? He's from Chile. He was playing Welder Mewtwo. Now, there's a few different ways that people can play Welder Mewtwo. One is the straight version, and then one is this version, which is sort of the Aurora engine, where you're running Aurora energies on top of, fire energies. You can utilize some other attackers in your list, namely things like Naganadel GX to snipe the bench, a very good card. Greninja GX, which can hit through anything, right, at all effects, so very good option against things like Decidueye for sure. And then, of course, Vileplume GX is another great option as well for just 1 Aurora and a Fire Energy. You can pop off for 180 damage and one-shot other Mewtwo's if you are on full HP, that is. So, very good option. Again, very cool deck. You got a lot of things in here. 3 Jirachi, so the Jirachi Scoop Up Net engine. 3 Mewtwo's, very important. Only 2 Dedennes. Typically, you do see more Dedennes in this list, but we do have a Crobat and a Zigzagoon, which is pretty cool. And then a bunch of different attacking options. Incineroar GX, which is really good. Naganadel GX, Heatran, Reshiram, Charizard, Charizard GX, Vileplume GX, Greninja, and we do have a Mewtwo in there to get the supporters out of the discard pile. Only 6 supporters in the deck, 4 Welder, 2 Boss. So, again, you're going to want to consistently, hopefully, find those Welders, right? But we have a lot of different options to find that between the 2 Dedennes, 1 Crobat, as well as the Jirachi engine. So not bad at all. We get 4 Cherish Balls, 4 Quick Balls, so plenty of Pokemon Search in here, 4 Switch, 4 Scoop Up Net. Plenty of Pokemon Search, plenty of switching options, 2 Reset Stamps, 1 Crystal, Big Charm. I'd like the Big Charm as well. It's going to help a lot in ADP matchups. It's going to help a lot in the Mirror matchup. It's going to help in Victini, things like that. I just like Big Charm whenever you're playing Mewtwo. Bringing you up to 300 HP always seems pretty good, in my opinion. But, yeah, I mean, 4 Hearth, and then 8 energies, 8 Fire energies, and then 4 Aurora energy. So, Welder Mewtwo has been pretty much really figured out. I don't know, I can't tell you which is the better way to play, Welder Mewtwo right now, whether it's just the straight fire version, or to, play the Aurora energy version and attacking these other attackers. They both seem to have their merits. I've seen people playing Victini with Mewtwo as well. We're going to take a look at that a little bit later. But definitely a really cool list, a really consistent list, and a very powerful list. When this deck right here that we're looking at goes well, when you're drawing well with this list, there's almost nothing your opponent can do realistically, because the ability to hit for 300 for 4 energies there, Incineroar GX can one-shot anything. Same with Heatran. You got Vileplume for the mirror matchup. You get Greninja hit Decidueye. You get Naganadel to snipe the bench. There's nothing this deck can't do as long as it's able to do what it wants to do, right? So very important to figure that out for sure. But yeah, Welder Mewtwo Aurora version, very good. Shout out to Mauricio for getting 29th in the tournament. Next up, we have Lexor Tcg. Lexor Tcg, man. From Great Britain, and he was playing Rapid Strike Urshifu. We had a few of them here in Top Cut, but let's take a look at Lexor's Rapid Strike Urshifu list. Now, I've seen a few different versions of people playing just straight Rapid Strike Urshifu. This one, of course, is going to be the Scoop Up Net Jirachi engine, which is my personal favorite way to play the list. We've got a Rapid Strike Urshifu V, 4 of them in the deck, and then we have 3 VMAX, so 4-3 lineup. Everything pretty standard there. 4 Jirachis as well, I like that. 2 Crobats, 1 Dedenne, 1 Jirachi GX. Now, the 2 Crobats and just 1 Dedenne is pretty important because a lot of people are running Power Plant to shut down your Jirachi GX, so that's something to keep in mind. Power Plant is a pretty important card. It's a pretty highly played card right now in our format, Stadium. So I think that the higher kind of Crobat is smart. 1 Goon as well to fix the math. Of course, you have 4 Scoop Up Nets, so you might as well be running Goon for sure. And then we have a Celebi as well, the Woodland Stroll Celebi, which I believe helps you find energy from your deck. I think it's energy. So also a pretty interesting inclusion in here. Nice little consistency card for sure. And then we also have Dedenne GX, one of them, and then one Jirachi GX to turn off your Psychic weakness to really allow you to have a better Mewtwo and Dragapult matchup. So I do like that for sure. We see 4 Marnie, 4 Research, 3 Boss, very standard there, 4 switching cards, and then 4 Scoop Up Nets with 1 Escape Rope there. So a lot of different switching options. It makes sense with Urshifu. You need to switch in and out, or you need to switch in rather to use that first attack there, Gale Thrust for its maximum effect, 150 damage. So I understand having a lot of these switching options in the deck for sure. And then we have 4 Pokemon Communications, 4 Quick Balls, so very consistent Pokemon Search. We even have 1 Evolution Incense in here as well, which is going to really make it easier for us to find our Urshifu VMAX, which is interesting. I like the 1 Escape Rope, 1 Evo Incense tech. It's pretty interesting. We have a Great Catcher in here as well, so I like all that stuff for sure. We got 1 Air Balloon, 2 Dojos. Now the Dojos are interesting. I always thought that Dojo was needed in Urshifu and Rapid Strike Urshifu, just because without it, you're going to struggle a lot against E-Turn VMAX. It's almost needed, realistically, because the math just doesn't work out. You are hitting for weakness, but E-Turn's got 340 HP. You hit for 150. So it's not necessarily like a winnable matchup unless you have Dojo. So I really suggest running the Dojo for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's super interesting. We don't see any energy removal in this list, which I think is, in its own right, pretty interesting. But even if you're not running, like even if E-Turn's running weakness guard energy, and you're not running energy removal, with Dojo, with the Dojo boost and maybe some Goon Pings, you're 2-shot KOing E-Turn anyway, and they're 2-shotting you, so you have a little bit more flexibility when it comes to that. So I do really still think Dojo is the best option in this list. Then we have 6 fighting and then 4 Rapid Strike energy, so 10 in total. No way of really searching out, well, we do have Celebi to search out the energies, but no Octillery or anything like that. This list is interesting. Sorry, let me scroll down. It's interesting, but in my eyes, this is the best way to play Urshifu. I've seen the Octillery engine see some success, but this is a very cool take on a Rapid Strike Urshifu list right now. People are still figuring out Urshifu, right? Nobody really knows the best way to play it yet. It hasn't been out very long. It's a very new archetype. Finding type is just overall pretty new, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see what people do with Rapid Strike Urshifu in the next few weeks. But big shout out to Lexor for getting, 28th in the tournament with Rapid Strike Urshifu. Next up, we have Candace McAllister from the U.S. Candace was playing Tempo Zard, Crycephalon, Welder Box, Blounds, whatever you want to call it. And here, everything is pretty standard, though I do see 2 escape ropes in here, which is pretty sweet. So we have 4 switch, 4 scoop up net, 2 escape ropes. So a lot of different switching options in here, which I like. On top of the Jirachis, it's just a good card to be running. Everything else pretty standard. 2 Cram, 2 Blound, 2 Reshi, 2 Dedenne, 1 Crobat, Goon, Mewtwo, or Choreo. Everything that you would typically think in the list here. 14 energies, 4 Giant Hearth. We've got 4 Quick Ball, 2 Great Ball, and then 1 Cherish Ball. So the Pokemon search is a little bit interesting, the way that he was running it here, on top of the 4 Fire Crystals. So, yeah, I mean, everything here is pretty standard. Realistically, we have 4 Welder, 1 Boss. Yeah, I mean, maybe kind of the newer way to play Tempo Zard in the list. Tempo Zard, of course, spoiler alert, did win the tournament. It did win the tournament, so, keep that in mind. Definitely pretty interesting. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. This list kind of has it all. Like, realistically, I don't know what has a good matchup against Blacephalon. Maybe ADP, maybe Urshifu, but for the most part, Tempo Zard Crycephalon might be the best deck in the format right now, in my opinion. It just can do anything you want it to. It can snipe the bench, it can one-shot stuff. You have a great single prize attacker in the list. It's consistent, it's got a late game, sort of sweeping potential, so it's just absolutely insane. Yeah, I like the list. I like the list a lot. I think the escape ropes are honestly pretty cool. So big shout out to Candace McAllister. I like the name as well. Next up at number 26th in the tournament, we have Andrew Hendrick from the U.S. He was playing ADP, so let's take a look at Andrew's ADP list and see if we can't find any notable differences between this list and the last list that we were able to take a look at. So this list is very different indeed. We have a 3-2 Bronzong lineup. In this ADP, we have 3 Zacian, 2 Crobat, 2 ADP, 2 Dedenne, which is super interesting for sure. We do not see Mewtwo, we do not see Empoleon, we don't see Aegislash. However, we do see 1 Mile GX and 1 Eldegoss, and we actually have a Landorus here. I have no idea what this Landorus is. Let me take a look here. So this is the linear attack Landorus. It does 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, so nice way to snipe the bench there. And then we have Power Cyclone, moving energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon, 60 damage. Very interesting. I think the little snipe the bench tech is actually pretty cool. Let me take a look here. We do have the Aurora Energy version of ADP. So we're bringing Aurora ADP back, which is super funny. No waters in here. No energy spinners. We just have the Aurora in here, which is super funny for sure with that Landorus. I kind of like it. I kind of like that Landorus tech for sure. So it's a cool list. We even have 4 Research, 4 Boss, and 1 Skyla. So no Marty in here, but we are running the Skyla. 4 Metal Saucer, 4 Quick Ball, 4 Escape Ropes, and no switching cards. So we do see 2 Air Balloon, 4 Escape Ropes, but no switches, which is definitely very interesting. I think the 4 Escape Rope ADP might be the best way to play ADP. Again, I haven't really tested it, but Escape Rope makes this deck so much more viable. It's actually insane. We have 3 Cherish Balls, 4 Quick Balls, 3 Pokemon Communications. So a lot of Pokemon Search in the deck. 1 Great Catcher, 1 Rusted Sword still in here, and then 8 Metal and 4 Aurora. So super interesting. Super interesting. Now this is, this list kind of gives you a little bit more options. Like you might not need, the thing is Bronzong kind of mostly, for the most part, eliminates the need of Energy Switch in your ADPs, right? So maybe you just run Bronzong Tech, which is 5 cards out of 4, which you might be running with your Energy Switch, except it's a little bit more, I suppose, flexible because you can do it more than once per turn, as well as kind of having it there whenever you need it once it is on your board. So I do like it. I do like the Bronzong Tech and ADP. I think the Landorus is super cool. Now, we don't see E-Switch, like I said, but we do see 4 Saucers and a bunch of switching options, as well as Bronzong. So You know, it's a super funny ADP list. I do love seeing people who kind of take ADP and do something different with it. You know, so that's probably one of the coolest things I've seen all day. So big shout out to Andrew Hendrick. I like that ADP list a lot. Next up, we have Henrique Jorge from Brazil playing E-Turn. Now, we didn't see a whole lot of E-Turn in Top Cut at this tournament. I'm not exactly sure why. This was his E-Turn list. It's like Disruption Eternatus. We have 2 Power Planes in here, 4 Hammers. We do have the 1 Phoebe to kind of, you know, pretty much guarantee the win on the Luke medal as well. We even have a Pal Pad in here, which is pretty funny. And then, you know, the 4-4-4 lineup. And then we have 2 Goons, 2 Yveltal, 1 Hoopa. So all pretty interesting stuff there. Plenty of Pokemon Search, all the good stuff. Now, we are running 6 Dark Energies with 3 Weakness Guards. And like I said, E-Turn is running Weakness Guard now just because those Urshifus are a big threat. So kind of crazy to think about. This is an extremely good list. E-Turn is still super good right now in our Battle Styles format, even with Urshifu. It just has a lot of really good matchups. You know, Phoebe really does help with Luke Metal. Pretty much makes that matchup extremely winnable unless you prize Phoebe. But again, you can always pull it out late game. So yeah, I mean, this is E-Turn VMAX. It's kind of a newer version of it. Henrique Jorge has always been a great Eternatus VMAX player. So, you know, definitely very awesome to see his, you know, his progression into this Battle Styles format, still playing E-Turn VMAX. So big shout out to Henrique Jorge, 25th in the tournament. Next up, we have Lexor Tcg, who is from Spain, and he is playing, of course, Mad Party. So Mad Party just got a whole lot better in Battle Styles. Really just the inclusion of Level Ball in the list made the deck so much more consistent. We could still have Mew in here, which is super good in a lot of those matchups, things like Urshifu and whatnot. But everything else is pretty much the same. There's nothing too much different here. The Pokemon lineup, almost exactly the same. We still run Researched, couple Boss, Giovanni's Exile, plenty of insanely high amount of Pokemon Search, 4 Level Ball, 4 Quick Ball, 4 Great Ball, 2 Evo Incense. So a lot of ways to search your Pokemon. 2 Great Catchers, Pal Pad, Ordinary Rod, Escape Ropes, and then, of course, the double or the twin energy and the triple acceleration energy. So everything in here is pretty much the same, except now, of course, we do have more Pokemon Search, which I do like. It makes the deck list that much more consistent. The Mew Tech is important. So yeah, I mean, this is Mad Party. So if you guys are looking to play Mad Party, it's kind of like a budget deck option. It does require a high count of Dedenne, as well as you know, a few things which might be a little bit harder to obtain at this point. Overall, it's still very much a budget deck and might be the best budget deck in the game right now. So big shout out to Gaia Storm. Mad Party had a great run in our tournament. It might have even been like the 1 seed after phase 1. I kind of forget, but you know, big shout out to Gaia Storm. Awesome to see that Mad Party doing well. Next up, we have Sage the Kid from Australia playing ADP. Let's take a look at their ADP list. Once we start seeing like repeat lists, we're gonna go a little bit quick here. So this ADP is super interesting. Look at this one. People are going all over the place with ADP these days. I kind of like it. This one also has the 3-3 Bronzong lineup instead of a 3-2, but Bronzong's still on the list. 3 ADPs and 3 Zacians. The 3 ADP is super interesting to me, for sure. 2 Dedennes. Now we have a Ditto V in here on top of a Ninetales V and a Milotic V. So plenty of different little options here. I do like the Ditto, personally. I think the Ditto is super cool. The Ninetales is actually very interesting. You can copy your opponent's attacks. We are running the Aurora Energy version, except he's running 1 Water and 3 Aurora, which I do find a little bit interesting for sure. Only 1 Escape Rope and 4 Switch, so maybe I would like to see a little bit of a higher Escape Rope count. The Mew's in here, which is just hilarious. Everything else, pretty standard. We do see a Viridians as well. So no Chaotic Swell. We're doing Viridians, bro. I do think Viridians is very good in ADP. Might even be better than Swell. I don't know if it's even worth running Swell if you can just consistently get that GX attack off when you need it, right? So Viridian's a pretty cool option for sure. But yeah, I don't even know what to say. This is just like a super funny ADP list. I haven't seen many ADP lists like this at all. I think the Ditto with the Ninetales and the Milotic and the Zacians is just hilarious. Like, I think that's actually pretty smart. The 3 ADP kind of throws me for a loop there. But you know what? This guy knows what he's doing, so pretty funny. No Escape Ropes, only 5 switching options, and 1 Rusted Sword I find interesting as well. 4 Quick Ball, 2 Cherish Ball, 2 Comms, also pretty interesting. The supporter lineup's pretty standard. The Mew in here as well, so pretty funny, man. That's I love to see that. Big shout out to Sage the Kid. Your ADP list is absolutely killing it. 23rd in the tournament with that list as well, out of almost 600. You got to keep that in mind, guys. Next up, we have Dax PTCG, so Danny Altavilla, a fantastic player here, 22nd in the tournament from the United States. He was playing Luke Metal, might be one of our highest placing Luke Metals in the tournament. Let's see if anything jumps out at us here. So pretty standard Luke Metal list here. It's kind of a mix. So we have 2 gears and 1 tag call. I know some people run like the tag call engine, some people run the gear engine, so kind of cool to see 2 in 1 here, kind of a combo. We do see a Tool Scrapper in here as well, the 14 energies. Again, a high supporter lineup. We've got 4 Marnie, 3 Boss, 3 Mallow, 3 Research, as well as 1 Cynthia Caitlyn. And we actually have Dialga in here as well. So I think this Dialga did come out in Vivid Voltage. It did. It's got the attack your Rewind Time attached to metal energy cards from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. We also have Flash of Destruction 130, and you discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. So could be a pretty viable option against Decidueye, which I find super interesting. Although, does Decidueye have 140 HP? I don't even know. Dialga, very interesting inclusion into the list. Yeah, okay. Well, big shout out to Danny. This is Luke Metal. Nothing too crazy here. 4 Zacian, 2 Luke Metal, 2 Zamazenta. That Dialga in there is pretty funny. I do love to see it. Everything else in here is pretty standard, I think, for sure. But I like the mix between the Pokegear and the tag calls in the deck for sure. High Malolana count, which I do find to be good. I've been playing high Malolana count for a while, especially when Pikarom was like the best deck in the format. But now with a lot of Pikaroms, a lot of Urshifus, maybe it still makes a lot of sense to run 3 Malolana in the list. And Tool Scrapper as well. All good things for sure. So big shout out to Danny Altavilla, Dax, PTCG. Love to see it. Love to see it. Next up, we have Zach Roy from the U.S. 21st in the tournament, also playing straight Victini VMAX. Let's take a look at their Victini list. Okay, so not straight Victini, actually a mix. So we're running a 2-2 Centiskorch lineup and a 2-2 Victini lineup. So that's just right off the bat pretty interesting. No Jirachi in the deck, but we do see 2 Crobat, 2 Dedenne, 2 Volcanion. So that is just your starting option, your best starting option, right? And then we also have 1 Richmond Charizard with Eldegoss. 4 Welder, 3 Boss. We even have no Giratina, but we have 2 Fans, 2 Escape Ropes, 2 Crystals, 1 Reset Stamp in here. Plenty of Pokemon Search between the 4 Quick Ball, 3 Communications, and the 1 Evo. And since we have 4 Gears in here, so he's running Gears in his list, we have 3 Hearth and 11 Fire Energies. This is funny. This is really funny. I don't know the significant advantages of running both Centiskorch and Victini, but maybe it does work out. Maybe it is a good choice. I honestly don't know. Maybe just like specifically for ADP, Centiskorch is better. I have no idea. This list is super funny. It's really awesome to see people combining Victini with Centiskorch. The 2 best, of course, Fire-type VMAXs in our format right now. 2 very different VMAX Pokemon, realistically. But just super, super interesting to see this Victini list. It's funny that it was put down as Victini and not like an other deck or like, I don't know. It's just interesting that it was put up here. Like the little icon was Victini right on Limitless, so that's interesting. Very funny deck list. Not much else to say about this. It's just Centiskorch and Victini combined. Fans in here is pretty cool. Escape Rope in here, also pretty cool. And then 4 Pokegears I do find to be very interesting for sure. So maybe a little bit of a hidden gem in here. Maybe that's just an absolutely busted list. Big shout out to Zach Roy. Next up we have Takume. I think it's how you say it, from Japan. 20th in the tournament, playing Dragapult, Urshifu. I love Urshipult, or Dragafu. I don't know what you want to call it. But I did make a video on this a little while ago. Most of the time you do run the Octillery engine, so keep that in mind. But I do think running the 3-3 Dragapult lineup as well as 2-2 Urshifu is very good. They do complement each other a lot. The 2-2 Remoraid Octillery is also very good. Makes the list that much more consistent. We can search out our Urshifus, our Karina's Focus, as well as our Rapid Strike Energies. No Billowing Fans in here to search out, but very, very good for sure. 2 Crobats, because no Dedenne. A lot of people do run, of course, the Power Plant, so you got to keep that in mind. And you are running the Power Plant yourself, so you definitely don't want to be running Dedenne in your list. 3 Marnie, 3 Boss, 3 Research, 3 Karinas. So he's just going 3-3-3-3 on the supporter lineup, which I do kind of think is interesting. 4 Quick Ball, 4 Calm, 3 Switch, 2 Escape Rope, 2 Evo Instants as well, so a lot of Pokemon search in here. Then we have the Scrapper, 2 Air Balloon, and Karate Belt, which is super interesting on top of the 2 Power Plants. And then, of course, the 8 Psychic, 4 Basic, 4 Horror, and then the 4 Rapid Strike Energies. This is Urshipult. For the most part, pretty standard Urshipult. I think the supporter lineup is a little bit funky. The Karate Belt is interesting, but other than that, Dragapult Urshifu is a really good list. Has a lot of really good matchups as well. It's a very fun list to play, realistically. I don't think we've seen one of these like win a tournament, but a bunch of them have gotten top 8, top 16s. And it's one of my favorite lists to play right now. So big shout out to Takume for getting 20th out of 600 players with Dragapult Urshifu. All right. we're 30 minutes in the video. We need to go a little bit quick, okay? Next up, we have Caruso, Karasu PT. Who is this from? Or he's from Portugal. This says it's straight Victini as well, but I have my doubts. Okay, no, it is straight Victini here. Okay, yeah. So he's running. Okay, yes. So this is straight Victini, but without the Jirachi Scoop Up Net engine or Volcanions. So just, I mean, everything in here is pretty standard. We are running the Pokegear engine. We've got, 4 Welder, 4 Boss, 2 Research, so pretty consistent there with the draw support. In the Pokegears, makes the list a little bit more consistent, a little bit less need for Jirachi. Excuse me. 3 Switch, 2 Escape Rope, 2 Air Balloons as well, which I find interesting, and then 3 Giant Hearth and 12 Fire Energy. So straight Victini. I don't know if Victini is better than just straight Centiskorch. I don't know if combining them is better. But personally, if I had to play Victini, this might actually be a very viable way, personally, for me to play the list. I do like the high supporter count. I do like the 2 Research and the 4 Pokegears in here. Kind of makes the list a little bit more consistent. You do need Cram and Reshi in the list, I think, to make this deck a bit viable. And I think the Heatran is a good inclusion as well. And no Dedenne, which is interesting, but the 2 Crobats, I don't know. Oh, never mind. We do have 2 Dedenne. I don't know what I'm thinking. Anyway, yeah. I mean, 2 Dedenne, 2 Crobat, 2 Research as well in here. 4 Pokegears. So pretty consistent version of Victini. I do like this list a lot, actually. This might be one to come back to. So big shout out to Karasu PT. Next up, LM, 18th in the tournament from Brazil, playing Luke Metal. Let's see what their Luke Metal list looks like. Probably going to be pretty much the same as most of them that we've seen here, and it is, except we do have the 3 goggles, one Cape of Toughness in here to kind of help with that ADP, and of course the Rusted Sword, right? We do have the Aegislash tech in here for Desi, which I do like to see. Everyone remember to tech for Desi. It's worth it, trust me. Everything here else, pretty standard. Pokegear engine, 3 Dolls, 3 Gears, 3 Malalanas. So the 3 Malalanas, definitely very important. Everyone seems to be playing 3 Malalanas. But other than that, pretty standard Luke Metal list. Again, awesome. Big shout out to LM. Congrats, man, for getting such a good placement in our tournament. Next up, we have Jonathan Patricio from Chile. He was also playing Mad Party. So let's see what his Mad Party looked like. I got to assume it's probably pretty similar, and it does seem that way, except we do have a Manaphy in here with Ocean Surge to find more Pokemon. I do kind of like that, actually. It makes a lot of sense. Everything else in here pretty normal. 1 Exile, plenty of Pokemon Search, 3 high count of Dedenne. We do have the Mew in here. We actually have 2 U-turn boards, which is a pretty consistent switching option because they're probably going to have to hit through here. They're probably going to have to hit you multiple times, so I do like the Escape Rope. Kind of puts it back in your hand here. Palpad, Ordinary Rod, Tool Scrapper, 7 energies. Everything else pretty standard. Yeah, the Mad Party, man, it's really good. Again, I can't really say it enough. I really suggest that you play Mad Party and that you try it out. It seems to be probably one of the best single prize archetypes in our game right now, and probably the best budget type deck. So big shout out to Jonathan there. Next up, we at 16th. So now we're getting into top 16, which is typically where we would start the video. So halfway through, we're going to move quicker, though. Tommy B89 from the U.S. here, playing Centiskorch. So there's a couple Centiskorches up here. I don't know if we'll see anything a little bit different here. Nope, it's just pretty much standard Centiskorch VMAX. Still running the Giratina, not running Fans. Jirachi, Scoop Up Net Engine, 2 Volcanions. He is running 2 Heat Energies, which I do find to be super interesting. I don't really know much about that. 3-3 Centiskorch lineup. We do have a Heatran and a Reshiram Charizard in here, except no Cramorant. No Cramorant is pretty interesting, for sure. But everything else, pretty standard. 2 Reset Stamp, actually. So a little bit funky of a Senny list. The Heat Energy I do find very interesting. So yeah, absorb this one. This is a pretty interesting Senti list, for sure. So big shout out to Tommy B. I mean, Senti, man, it's still super good. Still very good indeed. Next up, Skylon Bellows, 15th. 12-5-1 from the U.S. playing Luke Metal. This might be our highest placing Luke Metal. Let's take a look at their list. Almost exactly the same as the last one that we saw, except I think here we're running 1 Plant, 1 Swell, which is a little bit different. We're running 3 Coding and 2 Capture, so 15 energies in this deck. And we are running, what is it? Okay, so we're running 2 Malalana, 2 Cynthia Caitlyn, 2 Guzmahala with 4 Tag Calls. So the Tag Call engine pretty prominent. 2 Cape of Toughness in here as well. So a little bit funky of the Luke Metal here. We do have the Captures, which is interesting. The Stadiums are interesting. The 2 Cape of Toughness is pretty interesting. But other than that, everything here is pretty standard. Not the Gears engine. Not the Gears engine, the Tag Call engine. With an interesting 1-1 Stadium lineup and more tool cards, although it does make sense with Guzma Hala to maybe running the two different options in here. So pretty cool list. Big shout out to Skylon Bellows. I just love seeing whenever people kind of change lists a little bit, and it's just always interesting to take a look at that. Next up, we have Dorian Stotz from Canada, 14th in the tournament, playing Rapid Strike Urshifu. Let's take a look at his Rapid Strike Urshifu list. Scoop Up Net Jirachi Engine. We do have the Giratina in here with the Goon. I like it. 1 Crobat, 1 Dedenne, 4-3 lineup of Urshifu. Jirachi GX in here. 4 Research, 4 Marnie, 3 Boss. Pretty standard supporter lineup in here. Yeah, I mean, everything in here is pretty normal. To be honest, nothing really jumps out at me. The Great Catcher reset stand, pretty cool. The Dojos as well. Again, I do really highly suggest playing Dojo. But everything else in here, I mean, it's just another Urshifu list. So again, if you're wanting to play straight Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, this might be, again, the best way to play it. And in my opinion, really is. Especially with E-Turn running around, you do need Dojo. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Maybe could have seen some Air Balloon in here. Air Balloon might have been pretty sweet. I do think the stamp is interesting, and I do think that the Giratina and the Celebi, a lot of people playing Celebi and Urshifu, which I find to be very interesting for sure. So big shout out to Dorian Stotz. Big shout out to Dorian there. Next up, we have Thomas Brophy for sure. He seems to be in every single one of these videos. 13th in the tournament playing Senti. This was our highest placing Centiskorch in the tournament. And let's take a look here. We've taken a look at Thomas's Centiskorch list like a million times before. Everything in here pretty normal, except we do have a Talonflame in here, which I find to be interesting instead of like a Heatran, which we saw in the last list. We even have a Fion as well, and no Escape Rope, so just keep that in mind. Yep, 4 Welder, 2 Boss, everything else in here very, very standard. Very typical T-Brophy Centiskorch list. I do like the Talonflame for the Donks. I like that. As well as that first attack, definitely can be good. Free Retreat as a pivot, also very good. The Giratina and Fion, also pretty cool as well. So yeah, I mean, this is Centiskorch. This was our highest placing Centiskorch right now. So if a lot of people probably have these cards realistically, and if you're looking to play a high level deck right now in Battle Styles with something that you probably still had from last format, Centiskorch is probably going to be your best option. And I highly suggest you guys play Senti. It is very, very good still, for sure. I know Victini's all the hype, Mewtwo Welder all the hype, but Centiskorch still a very good deck. Big shout out to Thomas, good friend of Chill Series and Chill TCG, and not disappointing, 13th out of 586. So keep that in mind. Next up, we have Matt XIX. I don't know, dude. I can't say that. 9019 from Canada, playing Luke Metal. So this was our highest placing Luke Metal of the tournament. I was wrong before. Let's see if this one's a bit different. It's like our 5th one we've taken a look at. Okay. So very similar to the last one that we saw, except we're running less tag team supporters and 2 tag calls in the list. No Aegislash Tech, 2 Cape of Toughness, as well as 2 Power Plant, so no Swell in here, 3 Goggles. We're only running 13 energies instead of 15, and we're running 2 Stamps in here, as well as 3 Boss's Orders, 4 Research, 4 Marnie. All good stuff. Realistically, I mean, I like this list a lot. I like Luke Metal. And you can kind of see how the skeleton is pretty much defined, but people are kind of choosing to put in like, 1 or 2 of these like other cards in here to just change the list a little bit, and really kind of up in the air, right? I mean, it's really up to your discretion which is your preferred way to play it. This was our highest placing Luke Metal, so keep that in mind. But for the most part, right, all of them kind of had around the same record, the ones that we've looked at. So pretty interesting for sure. I guess it's up to preference, but Luke Metal, again, very good pick right now in this format. Hopefully you don't run into E-Turn with Phoebe, but other than that, Luke Metal is very, very good right now. So big shout out to, I thought it was my computer crashing. Oh, wow, that was scary. Big shout out to Maxix, 9019. Okay, my computer is just running slow at this point. I'm going to pause the video, so give me 1 moment. All right, sorry about that. We are back. I just had to make sure everything was going to be okay. Okay, so we're on 11th here. 11th in the tournament out of almost 600. We have the Lantern 2002 from, what is this, Great Britain playing ADP, our 2nd highest placing ADP of the tournament. Let's take a look at his list and see what we're rocking with here. Maybe it might be spicy, pretty standard ADP. I thought I was going to be shocked, but, our higher placing ADP is pretty normal. 3 Zacian, 2 Crobat, 2 ADP, 2 Dedenne, 1 Eldegoss, 1 Mawile, Empoleon. Supporter lineup pretty standard. We got the 4 Energy Switch, no Bronzong. Yeah, I mean, this is literally just like the most standard ADP list you could possibly think of. I would like to see a higher count of Escape Rope and less of a count of Switch, personally. But you know what? It is what it is. This is pretty much the most standard ADP you could think of and of course, one of the best decks in our format. So I highly suggest. Well, I don't know if I really suggest playing ADP, but I highly suggest that if you're trying to get like a top 32 or top 16, ADP might be the deck for you. Big shout out to the Lantern, man. Congrats on getting such a good placement of this tournament. Next up, we have Girox from Germany. Or sorry, Belgium. My bad. My bad. From Belgium. Hopefully he doesn't get mad about that. This is Peak. This is our only Peak in Top Cut, or the Peak that we're taking a look at today, and it's just classic good old Pikarom. The only thing I can think of here is we do have an Escape Rope thrown in here. No Big Charm. We do have 1 E-Radar, 2 Air Balloon, 14 Energies. But yeah, other than that, pretty standard Peak. We do have 2 Mewtwo's in the deck, just like always. Still makes this deck super viable against Urshifu and other matchups. I think he still might struggle against things like E-Turn, but you do have the 4 Hammers and Yellgrunt to keep that deck at bay, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, big shout out here. I mean, it's Peak, right? It's just Pikarom. It hasn't gone anywhere. I mean, we haven't talked about it too much, but Pikarom is still pretty heavily played. Still one of the best decks in our format, and it's just an incredibly good list. I'm not going to talk too much about this. I've made several videos on Pikarom, you know, it's pretty much the same list that Zach used to win Players Cup 2, with like an Escape Rope thrown in here, and maybe like some differences with the Hammers and Yellgrunt. But yeah, I mean, Peak. 3 Bolton as well. Definitely run 3 Bolton in Peak right now for sure. So shout out to Girox. It's Pikarom, bro. Still up here. Next up, we have Akiyama 777 from Guatemala. This is a straight Victini. Another straight Victini, our highest placing normal Victini list. Again, no Jirachi in here, but we are running 4 Pokegears. So the Pokegear straight Victini engine seems to be actually really good. The 2 Birdkeeper in here is pretty interesting actually as well. 3 Switch, 1 Escape Rope, 2 Birdkeeper, and 1 Air Balloon. So those are your switching options for the deck. I kind of like it. The 1 Phantom Waves I do find interesting. And I suppose, you know, that could be there 2 Phantom Waves. You know, those are going to be there kind of just to be a little bit clutch, right? You can kind of, you know, just kind of sit on them in your hand, wait till you need them, wait till they play like Coding Energy. You just pop it, and you're like, boom, here, let me get the KO real quick. So I like it. The 4 Boss, again, if you're playing Victini, definitely run 4 Boss Disorders. Very, very important for sure. So Victini, everybody. This is our highest placing Victini list. So I suppose right now, if you're playing Victini, the best way to play it is Pokegears. That's what the results of this tournament would tell you, or at least tell me. So just keep that in mind. I would like to see a higher count of the Battle Styles Victini. I think it's better for donking, Zacians particularly. So I do like this Victini. It also has a retreat cost of 1 and not 2. But the Spreading Flames is, of course, also very good. So, you know, maybe the base set one is better. But I think having a good mix as well is just pretty smart. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Big shout out to Akiyama. Victini, man. Yeah, I guess Gears, bro. Next up is our only Decidueye cut, and it's Angel Aranabar, who did get top 8 from Baru. Let's take a look at this Desi list. There's a lot of Welder going around, a lot of Volcanion, so I just don't think it was necessarily, you know, gonna probably win. It did win last week, so it's one of those things. It probably isn't gonna win 2 weeks in a row, right? That's just how this deck works. But here, everything else is pretty standard. We are running a Tag Call engine, Decidueye with 2 Malalanas, Guzma 2 Cynthia Caitlyn. We do have the Apom tech in here. Discard cards from your opponent's hand, which I like. The 2 Big Charms. You know, we got the Doll in here, 2 Rods, 1 Scoop Up, and 2 Turffields. So this is kind of a little bit all over the place, but the level balls makes this list that much more consistent realistically, and 4 Quick Balls as well. And the Turffields is what we're going to be using to search out our Decidueyes, right? And we can find that with Guzma, so pretty consistent, all things considered. We do have the 3 Grass Energies, 2 Captures, 2 Weakness cards, which I guess is sort of to help us with that Volcanion matchup, and then 2 Aromatics as well. So I like it. I like this Decidueye list. It kind of has a little bit of everything, realistically. And Decidueye is a very, very, very playable deck right now in the format. There's 4 Roses and the Mew as well, 2 Snorlax, all good things. And we have the Skill Dive Rowlet, so no Bird Keepers, so you might as well run the Skill Dive Rowlet, right? I think that's their better option. So yeah, this is Decidueye, guys. It's not going anywhere realistically. You knew we would have one in Top Cut, so big shout out to Angel Aranabar for being our 1 Decidueye to make it in. Next up, we have Ignacio Silva from Chile, playing ADP. How's this ADP look? This was our highest placing ADP of the tournament. So this is, again, super standard ADP in here. No Empoleon tech, no Mewtwo tech. We do have double Mawile to help us with Decidueye. We have the 4 Escape Ropes and no Switch in the deck. On top of the 2 Air Balloons, so I do like the 4 Escape Rope personally. I think it's pretty broken. The Skyla as well, which is cool to see. I think Skyla is actually really good in ADP realistically. And we have the 2 spinners, 2 great catchers, which is actually interesting. 4 boss, 2 great catcher with his 4 escape rope, so plenty of gusting option. That's really a big focus of this deck, and probably a big reason why Ignacio did so well here. 2 Rusted Sword, 2 Air Balloon as well, so yeah, who knows, man. 1 Swell, and we are not running the Aurora Energy version. We're running just the straight Water Energy version with the 2 spinners. Yeah, I mean, kind of looking back on it, if I had to play ADP, this might be the almost the exact list that I would play. Personally, I do like the 4 escape ropes. I do like double Mawile right now. Personally, I just think that this ADP here has it focuses on the best parts of ADP, which is consistent gusting options, that Mawile combo, which is gross, as well as the higher count of Rusted Sword to do big damage with Zacians, and 3 Dedennes, which I do think is important as well. So yeah, that's Ignacio, man. Big shout out to Ignacio. 7th in the tournament, our highest placing ADP. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at Mewtwo Welder with Victini, which was actually one of the most successful decks in our tournament. We had 2 of them here in top 8. I mean, this list is gross. Oops, I clicked the wrong one. My bad, let me go back. Taking a look at this guy. Takuto from Japan. So this guy, again, it's a 3-3 Victini lineup, just thrown into a Welder Mewtwo deck. So you have the options, right? Again, when we're playing Victini, we're running Reshiram and Charizard. We're running Heatran, but now we're just, instead of just doing that, we're going the next step and we're running full-on Welder Mewtwo on top of the Reshiram and Charizard. We have the Mew in here still. So there's a lot of different things. Of course, Victini for the V and VMAX Pokemon, and Welder Mewtwo for all those tag team matchups, which it loves to dominate in. Excuse me. 4 Welder, 3 Boss, 2 Research seems to be kind of a standard supporter lineup for Victini decks. 4 Quick Ball, 3 Calm, 2 Cherish Balls. Again, makes a lot of sense with considering the amount of Pokemon and the types of Pokemon we're running. 2 Switch, 2 Escape Rope, 2 Pokegears. So again, it's literally just a mix between Victini VMAX and Welder Mewtwo. Kind of an insanely busted list with 1 Great Catcher, 2 Air Balloon, 4 Hearth, and 12 Fire Energies. This list kind of has it all. Now, this format is interesting because it's kind of like the format to where people just have started mixing archetypes together. So people are playing Dragapult with Urshifu. People are playing Victini with Mewtwo Welder. Again, and having that Psychic attacking option as well as the Fire attacking option just really kind of helps your matchup spread. And this deck list has something for everything, realistically, right? I mean, if everything goes well, you can pretty much win any matchup with this list, and I definitely can see how it did so well in the tournament. Definitely a deck that you should stop sleeping on because, Mewtwo Welder with Victini is very, very good. Next up, we have Azul GG, who got 5th in the tournament. Big shout out to Azul here. 14, 4, and 1 playing Rapid Strike Urshifu, our highest placing Rapid Strike Urshifu. Now, one thing I do want to mention while we go and take a look at his list is he was running an Electro Charger. Now, this was pretty much a meme. For those of you who don't know, Electro Charger allows you to flip coins and then shuffle Electro Powers back into your deck, which Electro Power isn't even in our format anymore. So I think somebody donated subs to him on Twitch and told him to play this card, which is effectively just a useless card. However, I don't know if it shuffles your deck, so I guess that could be good. I honestly don't know. Yeah, Electro Charger, absolutely ridiculous. Other than that, though, keeping that in mind, it's just pretty much standard Rapid Strike Urshifu. We might see 1 less Fighting Energy in here, but everything else is literally exactly the same. I think that might be what he cut from the deck for that Electro Charger, was just 1 less energy. Yeah, Scoop Up Net, Jirachi Engine, Giratina as well, and the Goon. All good things with Scoop Up. I think that this list is extremely good. I think Rapid Strike Urshifu is very, very good. If you're playing it, this is probably the best way to play it, to be 100% honest with you. I think Octillery can be cool, but for the most part, right? I mean, this is just Rapid Strike Urshifu. Azul's a great player, so it does make sense that he did so well in the tournament, but he was, of course, playing a really good deck. I think his list is really good, excluding the Electro Charger, of course, but for the most part, if you're going to build Rapid Strike Urshifu, pretty much take this exact list, cut out Electro Charger, maybe put in an extra energy. If not the extra energy, maybe put in, I guess, a 3rd Escape Rope or something, or maybe like a 4th Calm. I don't know. But this is the list that you should be running. Again, Dojo. Run Dojo and Rapid Strike Urshifu. I had nothing else to say. Big shout out to Azul. Congrats on getting top 5 in the tournament. Next up, we have Lillabar from Canada, who did get 4th playing Mad Party. So Mad Party, again, did very well in the tournament. And we're not going to take too much time. This is it. Take it in. Absorb it. It's Mad Party. Pretty much the same as all the other Mad Parties decks that we take a look at. I don't have too much else to say. I don't typically ever play Mad Party, but I do realize that it's very good right now in our format, so I do suggest that you pick it up and play it again. Again, one of the best budget decks that we have in the format right now. An incredibly good option, especially with Level Ball. Big shout out to Lila Bar, man, for getting top 4 at a 600-player tournament with Mad Party. Next up, we have Espinola from Mexico playing Tempo's Art Crucephala. Now, you'll notice we had 2 of them in top cut. One of them did win the tournament, and it's just standard Tempo's Art Crucephala. And this one does have a Fion thrown in, so I don't think the last one we saw had a Fion. But yeah, here it is. This is probably the best deck in our format, realistically, like if I had to say so. At least it's the best deck in a best-of-3 format. That's been proven for an absolutely extraordinarily long time now. If you're playing best of 3, this is the best deck to play. Realistically, it really, really is. I'm gonna stand on that hill until somebody knocks me off. But Tempo's Art Crucephalon, guys, absolutely busted. Again, I'm not gonna talk about it too long. We've talked about this list several times. I actually made a video on this list not too long ago because it did win one of our previous tournaments, which is why I might not make a video on the winner this week, just because I've already made a video on it. I already made a video on it. So if you guys want to check that out, a link will be like up there in like the little, you click that little thing in the top right and it'll pop up. So Tempo's Art, Crucephalon, insane, literally insane. I Am Flukovo got second in the tournament, made it to Grand Finals. Now, if you guys are interested in watching this Grand Finals match from this massive 600-player tournament with the Tropical Beach on the line, I did post the VOD for it. You guys can go check that out. It was the last video I posted on the channel. Also, you can click up there. It'll be up there or something. Click on that for sure. He was playing, again, Welder Mewtwo with Victini, and this is pretty much the exact same list that we saw before, except he has a Tool Jammer in here. You might be like, why Tool Jammer? It is pretty much an auto win against Spiritomb, pretty much. You can kind of, get rid of the Cape of Toughnesses, and that does make it an auto win, but also it's just pretty good in general to kind of get rid of the tool cards, which might be on your opponent's Pokemon. Probably pretty good against Luke Metal, realistically. Probably pretty good against most things, just to kind of get rid of their Air Balloon and whatnot. Can be just a really disruptive card. Is it needed in the list? Probably not, but it is cool to see Tool Jammer in the second best deck or the second highest placing deck of this tournament. Pretty interesting. Maybe Tool Jammer will see more play. Does seem like a very disruptive and annoying card, so maybe it is the best thing to play here. If both players are running Tool Jammer, do they just both knock each other off? I honestly don't know how that works, but we just took a look at this list. It's just a 3-3 Victini lineup thrown into Welder Mewtwo. It's extraordinarily good. Like I said, it has an incredible matchup spread. You have pretty much an answer for everything in the format right now. I'm not going to spend too much time taking a look at this. I'll probably do a video on it here soon. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. It's Victini VMAX, absolutely busted. Welder Mewtwo, absolutely busted. Put them together. Might be our best deck in the format. It didn't win, but it had an extremely good outing, and for that reason, I do suggest that you go play it. I Am Flukovo is also a great player as well, from Hong Kong. Next up, we've got Gamer Allo, the guy that took home the beach himself. First out of 586 players, this guy took home the gold, 17-2-2. He went all the way, bro. He went all the way, and he was playing Blounds Crucephalon. Like I said, I do think that especially in best of 3, this is the best deck in the format. It's just super consistent, has insane damage potential. You have plenty of different attacking options between the Crucephalon, Reshizard, and Blacephalon. You just got to think how good these attackers are. Like Reshiram and Charizard and Blacephalon have been probably one of the best attackers in our game for such a long time now. Welder is so good. Now we have Cramorant, we have Scoop Up Net, Jirachi Engine, Mew in here, Zigzagoon, everything just is perfect. Or Choreo for that late game kind of come back with Jirachi or Choreo combo. It's just insane. We even have the reset stamp in here and one escape rope. This list is gross, realistically, in a good way, in the best way possible. This list can do it all, and I don't know what else to say, realistically. I did make a video on this where I played the deck terribly, but I do realize that it's one of the best decks in the game right now. A deck that I never play, but a deck that I do really appreciate because of how consistent it's been placing recently. So here it is. Absorb it. 586 players comes down to this one list, winning it all. And it's been that way multiple times recently. So, again, big shout out to Gamer Allo. Big shout out to Gamer Allo. Big shout out to everybody who participated in Chill Series number 25. You guys were the reason that this was the biggest PTCGO tournament in the history of Limitless online events. 586 players. Absolutely unreal. All right, guys. that was the video. My voice hurts. I've been talking for like an hour straight. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why I film these videos every week. I don't know why I do this to myself. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been Matty from Chill TCG. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to click subscribe, like the video. It means a lot to me. We've been growing so quick recently. We're going to be hitting 3,000 subscribers soon. Absolutely insane to think about. If you're interested in playing in Chill Series tournaments, we run them every Wednesday. Link to register for the next tournament will be down in the description below. Again, big shout out to the channel members, and big shout out to Card Cavern. Don't forget to use the code ChillTCG for 5% off your entire order. Link will be down in the description below. And yeah, that's it. I don't know. We're going to get out of here. I never really know how to end these videos, and it's a little bit awkward for me. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Okay, all right. We're leaving. Goodbye. Peace out. The video's over. Goodbye.